Good day, my name is Hazel. We are Group 18. Please allow me to introduce our group members. They are Alex, Ada, Alan, Vanessa, and myself. Firstly, I will talk a little bit about our topic, why we choose it, and some review of it as a key objective of AFC Australia in 2015. Then Alex will introduce event tourism based on a case study. Next, Ada will provide a market analysis for AFC. Following, Alan and Vanessa will further discuss about strategies for Japan, South Korea, and China, with how to apply these strategies. Finally, Vanessa will provide a conclusion for our presentation. Now, let's start with why we talk about tourism. Considering the big environment, Australian government came out with many positive policies to help development of tourism in Australia. Besides, if we check the data, we could find tourism has brought more GDP than other industries to Australia. And then it boosts employment both directly and indirectly in Australia. With the support of government, we came up with these three reasons of why tourism could be the key objective of AFC Australia in 2015. Firstly, Australia is a country which located in Asia Pacific, but with Western developed and English-speaking culture. This makes Australia owns a strong destination appeal to other countries in Asia. Secondly, AFC can attract international fans, especially from Japan, Korea, and China. The AFC is going to attract more than 500,000 spectators, including around 30,000 fans from overseas. These international visitors will inject millions of dollars into our visitor economy, benefiting hotels, restaurants, bars, shops, and our tourism attractions. Besides, with the millions of TV audience and high reputation of Australia, it will help future tourism-related development.
What is event tourism? Event tourism has been described as the planning, development, and marketing of events as tourist attractions to maximize the number of tourists participating in events as either primary or secondary attractions. Even in cases where events have not been planned with tourism objectives, tourism tends to become a factor during the marketing of the destination. To become a product for sale, a sport event has to be attractive through specific target segments, high in quality and priced right. Sports tourism is not just experience of sport activities. It forms a distinct culture, sport culture, a culture that can influence the choice of the destination. Also, sport events can be used as a promotion tool of destination country. International events like the Olympic Games can attract tourists to the destination and create a favorable image of the country. In addition, the development of sport facilities may be an effective strategy to access new markets. To justify sports event can effectively promote tourism. I'll give you an example of what happened in Portugal. That is European Football Championship 2004 in Portugal. During that time, around 211,000 extra tourists were attracted to Portugal. In addition, it received an increase in annual tourism revenue of between 179 and 357 million euros in the year following the tournament. And their efforts on promoting tourism include four parts. The first one was new identity of Opto and Northern Portugal. A new merchandising line was created for the Opto and Northern Portugal brand with an improved design. The second was advertising. New advertising campaigns were launched in target markets for selected target groups and within chosen media. The third was public relations. Media were used in order to improve the product image, ensuring press reports and records. The last one was promotion materials. All promotion materials had the same design settings, assuring international communication coherence amongst the regional and national identity brand. What we have learned from Portugal. It is very important to have knowledge about the adaptation of our travel package supplies. Only by knowing the impact of different target groups within the local trade, we are able to control and adjust the strategies, making them match with international tourism demand standards.
In this part, we suggest three target markets that the AFC committee could pay attention: China, Japan, and South Korea. The reasons are: firstly, they are ranking top 10 international tourist regions of Australia. In 2014, China was recognized as the second international market of Australia tourism. Japan ranked the sixth place, while South Korea was the ninth market. Besides, tourists from these three countries have interest in sport events, especially football game. Moreover, these three countries are important trade partners of Australia and have good performance and great potential in leisure tourism and business tourism. Relating to another objective of attracting trade and investment, these markets are valuable to implement integrated strategies. China has been the most important market of Australia. In 2014, there were 840,000 visitors coming to Australia with a total of 5.7 billion spent. Referred to the market profile issued by Tourism Australia, the top three Australian attractions for Chinese tourists are beaches, wildlife, and food and wine. They would like to experience the nature and laid-back lifestyle in Australia. Among the huge population of China, our group would like to highlight the market segment of 30 to 49 years old, living in primary and secondary cities with medium to high income level. In addition, there are some other stories about Chinese tourists. For example, they have strong desire to visit Australia's iconic attractions such as Sydney Opera House and Great Barrier Reef. They prefer group travel, especially when they go to the destination at the first time. However, as they are becoming experienced, they would like to have flexible options in their travel. Some of them even start to plan the itinerary by themselves. Additionally, they usually search and plan the travel with the help of internet, but they rely on travel agents to book. The most powerful information source that influence their inspiration, planning, and booking are traditional travel advertisement, TV program, and comments they get from friends and relatives. Social media is more important. The most significant social media are WeChat and Weibo. Another two important markets are Japan and South Korea. In 2014, there were 326,000 Japanese visitors come to Australia and they totally spent 1.4 billion. South Korea had 204,000 arrivals with about 1.1 billion expenditure. They have some features in common. The majority of inbound tourists are aged from 15 to 29. They are interested in beach, beauty and nature and the wildlife of Australia. Compared with other markets, they are more willing to participate in events when they are traveling if the event is exciting and appealing. The biggest obstacle from them to come is the long and expensive flight. Furthermore, there is another issue that, based on the Consumer Development Program, many respondents were unwilling to come because they did know nothing that they can do in Australia. The main source that they obtain information are internet search engine, guidebook, and comments from others. The biggest obstacle for them to come is the long and expensive flight. Furthermore, there is another issue that some people are unwilling to come because they don't know what they can do in Australia. The main source that they obtain information are internet search engine, guidebook, and comments from others.
As Korean and Japanese are fond of water sports, beach, and wildlife in Australia, we could add these elements in advertisement to attract them to travel to Australia. For instance, add some beautiful scenery and people relax and have fun on the beach with their families and friends, some water sports and excitement moments of football, like Japan and Korea's brilliant shoot of previous Asian Cup. The key stakeholder would be the TV station in Japan like NTV and Korea like KBS and MBC. We could collaborate with them to put ad in the travel channel. And the other stakeholder would be the government statutory Authority for tourism promotion, like Tourism Australia, Event Queensland. We could let them to design different ads for different target markets and add some specific scene in ad for Korea and Japan. And by doing this, TV station could not only earn money from Australia, but also enhance their national pride by broadcasting excellent shooting moments. For Tourism Authority, through this, it could enhancing the push and pull factor. Then they could attract tourists from all these two countries. Secondly, we would raise their awareness of Australia tourism. We could use internet advertisement pay-per-click to cooperate with Google to see if we reach our target market. Then we could invite journalists of magazine and publisher from Japan and Korea to Australia before the AFC to have some pre-match report and travel around Australia. Treat them well to ask them to promote AFC, Australia's beautiful scenery, as well as the unique experience in Australia to their magazine or guidebook readers. The key stakeholder would be the search engine company like Google, Korean and Japanese television companies, and journalists of magazines and publisher. By doing this, TV stations and magazines have some concerned topics and materials to attract their readers, and journalists could have great experience in Australia. At the same time, it would promote AFC as well as Australia to Korean and Japanese. Besides, we could cooperate with soccer club. As it mentioned before, majority inbound tourism in Australia would be young adults aged from 15 to 29. We could cooperate with local soccer club and schools. First, we could tell them information of AFC and tourism promotion advertisement in Australia and let them help to advertise among club members. Secondly, we could cooperate with local travel agents and local football clubs to promote the AFC package trip. For example, someone who buy more than 15 AFC tickets could have discounts of traveling in Australia, like discounts in some specific restaurant, attraction entry fee, and some specific hotel. Thirdly, we could cooperate with some junior football school to promote the exchange program during AFC. They could have opportunity to watch the AFC, travel around major cities of AFC, and meet the football celebrity of their own country. The key stakeholder would be the soccer clubs and sport schools in Japan and Korea. Japan and Korea local travel agency, Australia travel agency, airline company, and hotels. By doing this, soccer club members could watch live match and travel around Australia with discounts. Sports school could have opportunity to learn some practical skills by watching live match. It could also let students learn multicultural knowledge of Australia. Meanwhile, Australia may gain tourists, and airline companies and hotels would also make more benefits accordingly. By doing this, soccer club members could watch live match and travel around Australia with discounts. Sports school students could have opportunity to learn more practical skills by watching live match. It could also let students learn multicultural knowledge of Australia. Meanwhile, Australia may gain tourists, and airline companies and hotels would also make more benefits accordingly.
In terms of strategy to China, according to the research, Chinese tourists are interested in Australian beach, wildlife, food and wine, also famous tourist attraction. Firstly, TV advertisement, adding tourism commercial during the broadcast of sport in China. The stakeholders include Chinese television corporations such as CCTV and TVS, also the Authority Tourism Organization in Australia like Tourism Australia and local tourism bureau. By doing this, Chinese television station can get higher rating for broadcasting the matches, while tourism organization in Australia can advise Australia and attract more Chinese tourists to visit. Secondly, increase Australian tourism image by adding commercial in video, such as the non-stop advertisement before the video. The stakeholder includes social media company and also the Authority Tourism Organization in Australia. By doing it, social media company can charge for advertising from Australian Tourism Organization, and the Australian Tourism Organization can make Australia as one of the best destination for China. Third, promote AFC in China by using social media like official WeChat. For example, like Clint like to have a chance to win a package tour, and also like posting photo and sharing experience campaign on Weibo. The key stakeholders are social media company in China and also travel agency and Australian Authority Tourism Organization. And also the last one is Asian Football Cup. By doing this, WeChat and Weibo would have more users from the lucky draw and campaign. The travel agency can have more business through selling the package tour to Australia for AFC. On the other hand, in Australia, AFC can attract more people to attend the match, and Australian Tourism Organization can promote the awesome tourism resource to Chinese tourists. Although international tourists are important, we cannot ignore the importance of domestic tourists. So we decide a loyal fan program. We work with local travel agency, hotel, and airline over selling ticket package for the local fans. For the person who buy all tickets of their own country's team around Australia, we let them stay in the sport area so they could have the opportunity to interact with the football player and get signed football or shirt. Also, they have discount in flight ticket, hotel, and some restaurants. The key stakeholders are local travel agency, hotel, restaurant, and airline in Australia. By doing this, it will be easier for loyal friends to travel around Australia to watch every match. They could have opportunity to interact with football players. Meanwhile, the whole tourism chain will gain benefit from this loyal program. To sum up, tourism is extremely important for Australia and AFC. So from the case study, we know sport event can promote tourism. We also analyzed China, Japan, and South Korea market. So we come up with some strategies like appropriate and appealing tourism message, media explosion, and domestic tourism promotion.
Thank you for listening. Bye bye.